Welcome back. We back for 2025, the Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. Like I said, we back, man. We took off for the holidays, New Year's, Christmas, but we back rocking and rolling. The topic for tonight is overcoming life's hardest battles, lessons beyond the uniform. I got Mr. Gary Goliday with me. They call him Kobe, as you can see. Well, we're going to call him Gary. Now, he's a retired military veteran. He's an entrepreneur. Now I'm going to let Mr. Goliday, a.k.a. Gary, a.k.a. Kobe, take over. Tell him a little about yourself, my guy.
Again, hey, man, I appreciate you guys for having me. So I did 27 years in the Army. Sweet. I did 23 active and 4 reserves. I'm originally from Mississippi, though.
All right.
My dad was a military, so I grew up a military brat. My father was actually my Army recruiter. Right. So as a kid, I got to travel the world with my parents a whole lot. You know, I lived in Germany for a total of 9 years. So I have literally lived all over. I've been to Korea, lived there, Japan, and numerous installations here in the States. But once I got in like 8th grade, I didn't want to be traveling all over the place with my parents no more. So I decided to move back home with my grandparents so I'd be stationary to be able to go to high school where my parents went to school at.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I did that. Once I graduated, I went off a baseball scholarship to Alcorn, short-lived.
Baseball?
Yeah.
Bro, hold on now.
Yeah, baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah, my grandfather was a baseball coach, so I started playing baseball at an early age.
Now, how long have I been knowing you, Gary?
For probably about 8 years, 7 years.
Okay,
now.
so this is the first time that you've ever told or even said anything about baseball? We talk all sports.
Right.
But never say anything about baseball.
I played all sports, but that's what I was.
We're going to get into that later. Go ahead and tell them, keep talking to him.
Again, that was short-lived. After that, I told my father I wanted to go in the military. And he was like, you sure? I was like, yeah. So I ended up going, I enlisted initially for 4 years.
Okay.
And you know, when you're young, you don't quite know what you want to do, and then you think you're missing out on some things. So once I finished my first enlistment, I moved back home, actually to Memphis. Then I had my daughter.
Okay.
So I knew I couldn't earn the living that I needed, especially more so from the benefits at that time, just working a 9 to 5. So I decided to return back to what I knew, and that was the Army. So I ended up going back in again. Initially, did 3 years. I was stationed in Germany. Then I got back out, moved to Memphis, and worked for the post office for 4 years. And then I finally went back in one more time. And then, as you know, I just retired here in the Florence, Alabama area, July 22nd, 2020.
Hold up. Bro, so you was in the military how many years?
A total of 23 active and 4 reserves.
And you had 4 years where you worked at the post office.
Yep.
Bro, you look like you about 40 years old.
Nah, I'm 52.
What? Hold on. Now looking at you, I'm like, I know this math went adding. I'm like, this dude look like he my age. I'm like, how in the world he done did all this?
52.
So you done aged well.
Aged well, you know.
So the military didn't kick your butt too much then.
Nah, life is good.
What did you do in the military? If you can talk about it.
Yeah, I can talk about it. So initially, my background is logistics. I'm what they call a logistician. But also, I was in combat arms for a total of 4 years.
Okay.
That wasn't really my cup of tea. It was a little bit more challenging. It just speaks for itself, combat.
Yeah.
You know, I was stationed in Germany then. I did a tour in Kosovo while I was stationed there as well. A lot of training, but then I didn't like it as much because it got boring after a while. And basically what I did, I was send fire missions to tanks.
Okay.
So, you know, you have these tanks, they can't see their target. So I get data and I send all that data to the tanks to hit the target, basically. After a while, that got boring to me, so I ended up getting out. And that's when I got into reserves. That's where that come in at. But I went back to my old MOS, which was logistics.
Okay.
Because now you need logistics and everything. And that was actually, from a career standpoint, was one of the best moves I made.
Sweet. So how did you end up in Florence, out of all places?
So initially, before I came here, I was in Mississippi, but I became a recruiter, an Army recruiter.
Okay.
I was a recruiter for 8 years total, actually. I did 6 years in Little Rock, and then actually they sent me home, probably not even an hour from originally from where Mississippi Valley is.
Yeah.
And I did 2 years. Well, after being on what they call on the numbers and just got burnt out with it, I was able to finally switch back again to my old MOS. And that's how I ended up working here. They sent me here to work at the Army Reserve Center full time here in Sheffield.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I ended up here.
So when you came here, you was no longer a recruiter.
No,
You was,
I had got out of recruiting. Yeah,
Sweet,
I had
okay.
got out of recruiting.
That's, man, look, like I said, I've been knowing you 6, 7, 8 years now, and it's like some of the stuff you already dropped. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know that, which is pretty interesting. Like because you never know everything about everybody or everything about people that's in your life until you really, really just like have that one-on-one time where you just sit down, just chopping it up, just talking about life and where you've been and what shaped you and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, man, like I grew up, my first sport was baseball. So when you said that, I was like, what? Man, we talk football and basketball like it's nothing, but we've never talked baseball. Like I grew up in the era with Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire and what I'm saying, Sammy Sosa.
Right.
Those power hitters. And to me, Barry Bonds is still the greatest baseball player that I've ever seen. And the stories I've heard about him kind of, validate that. But hey, that's just me. I don't care steroids. Pre-steroids, I don't care. Barry Bonds was just something special.
He was true.
But so now you're in logistics still, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what made you pick logistics out of all? Well, did it like what was that?
Initially, when you're young, I didn't know what I was getting in.
Yeah.
My father was my recruiter, and he told me this would be a good job to have.
Okay.
At that time, okay, I'm just listening to my dad. He was a subject matter expert, like I said, my recruiter. So he hooked me up. He got me in. I never knew then, of course, like I knew now, because now it's very, very big. Like I said, you can't do nothing out here without logistics. Yeah. And that's kind of what I still do, logistics now.
Sweet. So when you moved back in, or you moved in with your grandparents or your grandmother, did your relationship with your parents still stay pretty tight?
It did, because I'm very close with my family. Like in the summertime and everything, I would leave and go, what my parents was, and even sometime for Christmas.
Okay.
But talking to my mother and dad at least every other day.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy it. I'm a country boy. Gotcha. I love, something else a lot of people don't know about me. I grew up riding horses, hunting, and all those things, and I learned a lot growing up in the country, being from Mississippi. It teaches you a lot.
Gotcha. What position you played in baseball?
Anywhere in the infield, but my main position was second base. Anywhere, I didn't like the outfield because there wasn't enough action. But anywhere in the infield, even pitch, but not catching.
Okay. Now you said it was short-lived. Why was it short-lived, my guy?
Because it was kind of a mistake, actually, that I made. And it following friends, So I got a scholarship to Alcorn, got there, but at that time, all the athletes, they was doing something. I don't know if you know about Alcorn. Alcorn is in the woods.
Okay.
So the dorms for the athletes, they were doing some work on it, and we weren't even on the campus. We were further out.
Okay.
So a lot of my friends was like, you know what? I'm going to Mississippi Valley, which is where most of our family go because it's right down the road from my hometown. Well, I stayed there a little while, and then I called myself going to follow my friends. Yep, so that was a mistake I made. Well, I did follow them, and I actually went down to Mississippi Valley.
Okay.
That's where it was short-lived because I didn't get the scholarship. I could have played the following year, but I wasn't going to be able to play that year coming up. Right.
Okay. So, and it's good that you say that because nowadays you got so many athletes that are able to just transfer the portal and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So when you made that decision, was there anybody helping you make that decision, or that was just something you just made on your own?
Well, sort of. I had friends, father, but they pushed me, in the direction. They kind of wanted me to go, but they wasn't forceful with me. So, even with my decision to go in the Army, everyone was like, well, I know you going in the Army because your dad was a recruiter.
Yeah.
Because everybody, and he was a recruiter at my high school, But that wasn't the case. It wasn't nothing forced on me. So they gave me a little room to be able to make decisions on my own, especially at that time.
And that's where I'm headed, you know what I'm saying, with my kids playing sports. It's kind of like, and I don't want to be that dad that's just making all the decisions for them. Right. But I want to be like, okay, if you choose this is the pros and cons. Or if you choose this, I'm gonna lay it out for you.
Right.
So it's like if it backfires and don't work, hey, I didn't tell you to do that. I gave you the pros and cons. And if it works, I didn't tell you to do that. I guided you either way. And it's kind of like because you want them to be able to stand in whatever, decision they make.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like what you were saying. It's like when it's all said and done, they kind of try to, do what they had to do, but when it's all said and done, I made the decision. Correct. And that's good. And the fact that you can stand in it and be like, I own that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this. What was the toughest battle after the military and how did it shape you? Your toughest battle after the military and how did it shape you, my guy?
Actually, it was probably the transition itself. When you've been in the Army for 27 years, you sort of programmed, and it's different from out here in the civilian sector. In the military, certain mistakes you make can cost you your life. And I had to learn that people don't move the same way out here in the civilian sector.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. If you ask someone for help, or it can be a store or something. You can be, you gotta wait. People don't show a sense of urgency, and I ended up having to have a lot of patience because I'm like, okay, these people, they're not in the military. They weren't never in the military. So even on the job that I'm on now, I work with military personnel, but there are a lot of civilian people that I work with as well.
Yeah.
And we just do things totally different. Give you another example. You hear a lot of, if your son make a mistake, a lot of people be like, well, it's going to be okay. When in the military, no, it's not going to be okay.
I feel you.
Because this can cost you your life.
Yeah.
But I hear, oh, baby, it's going to be all right. Say your son playing football. You can relate to this. And he make a mistake. And mom saying, oh, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay because we lost.
Yeah.
We might have could have won because if he would have made that block or he just did his job. And a lot of times I hear people water things down saying it's going to be okay. But then when your son start losing, everybody's upset.
Right.
Because don't nobody like to lose. Even the parents, you might not be playing, but then it become boring to you. The kids lose interest. You didn't see the little kids crying because they lose. Nah, so I tell them, no, things are, I guess, a little bit more serious in the military compared to the civilian sector.
I didn't, and that's pretty unique way to look at it because I didn't think he was going that route.
Right, because a lot of people that's where the transition, because we're kind of programmed to a certain degree. Yeah. And we taught to do things a certain way. If you watch someone in the military, everything got to be structured. Dress right, dress. When they move with a purpose. People out here, they ain't into all that. Yeah. And there's a good and bad to it, but yeah.
Yeah, I can see the good and the bad. It's kind of you got to find that balance. Right. But I like that mentality because I guess because of my sports background.
Right.
It kind of we're nowhere near a program like y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As far as because y'all dealing with true life and death. But when you're playing some college ball, and you're at a real program, bro, they slap a book down. My freshman year going to Jacksonville State, they slapped a book down about that thick. It had every day planned out for the next month.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, are y'all serious? Yeah. And you find out at that time, if you don't love the game, I'm talking about love it.
Right.
You're not going to survive. Because back then we was doing 3 and 4 day of practices. Right. It wasn't no 2 days. It was 3 and 4 days of practice, bro. Our practice jerseys were red and white. If you was injured, you wore blue. If you were hurt, you wore orange. About 3 weeks in, bro, we like the Florida Gators out there. We couldn't even scrimmage because we didn't have enough linemen. That's how we just banging and beating up on each other. And so, like I said, man, and you realize, man, this stuff is so serious. Right. So when you step into your studies, it's like you try to carry that same mentality over into everything in life. Kind of like how you were saying when you get out the military, it's like, bro, they ain't looking at stuff the way I'm looking. You say you move with a purpose.
Exactly. They ain't looking at, it's totally different. So a lot of times, and then you got to also look, people are concerned, military, when I say people, how am I going to adapt to this? I've been doing this 20-something years. Yeah. So now you're nervous. Am I going to be able to make it out here? Because, hey, I'm used to things being this way. I'm used to getting up in the morning. That's why you have so many people, they still do that same routine. Mm-hmm. You have people that's been in the military 20 plus years. You see them still getting up in the morning, working out. It's because when you've been doing something 20-something years,
yeah, it's hard to break that.
It's hard to break that, but the good thing about it, some of those habits, or most of those habits are good. Okay. Like I say, in the military, man, certain mistakes, it's life and death. Yeah. You're not perfect, and we understand that. You're going to make mistakes. But at the same time, you're going to perfect your craft. They're going to drill you, just like you were saying, until you don't make those mistakes no more, because the mistakes can cause you not to come home.
So with your logistics background, and then you perfected that seemingly, you got really good at it while you was in the military. Right. And then now that you're doing your entrepreneurship and creating businesses, how has that played a role in it?
I'm in training. My degree is transportation logistics management. Okay. So I got something. So the business I run, as you know, is a box truck business. Still transportation and
Well,
logistics.
that's
So anything you're talking about when it comes to logistics, as a logistician, with me being in this for so many years, you can tell me what you need moved and how you want to move, and I can make it happen for you. I can order anything. You can say, well, hey, I want a certain site set up with some type of business. Well, you're going to need logistics because you got to have those products to bring in to start your site to being set up. I'm the one going to bring everything in that you need. And you got to be able to have those certain connects. Okay, I know you need this, or I know where to go to find this.
Sweet.
That's where, and because when you say logistics, first of all, that's a wide range.
Okay.
When you have a person moving fuel from one point to the next, that's logistics.
Okay.
You have people coming in when you guys was remodeling this building. Hey, that was logistics. The things that's in this building, all that's logistics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty dope, man. It was like when you said what you had your major in, what you got your degree in, it was like, oh, I guess it's just common sense for me to find a business that I can just literally like just walk right into it. You know what I'm saying? With my background. That's pretty dope, man. What made you want to be a businessman? Like, where did that come from?
After doing 27 years for jumping to the beat of somebody else's drum, Uncle Sam, basically, and making sacrifices for Uncle Sam and this country and everything, make some sacrifices for myself.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
Okay. Was anybody in your family an entrepreneur? You ever seen, any businessmen in your family?
There's a couple.
Okay.
My uncle, who was military as well, he owns, he owned. He lives in Las Vegas, but at one point he owned 13 big rigs in Las Vegas. Yep, and he still is somewhat in the business now. He's retired, but I think he got 1 or 2 trucks still.
Okay.
He was the main one though.
So, how do you juggle like businessman, entrepreneur, government worker, and a family man? Like, how you doing all this, bro? Like, do you have time for your family?
It's simple. When I leave work stay at work. Now, don't get me wrong. You go home with your wife, you're going to talk about work sometime. But it's not to the point to where I'm bringing my work home with me. Okay. Me and my wife's favorite thing to do is, of course, travel or be on the couch watching Netflix or something like that. My dad had this saying is, wherever your buddy is, your head need to be there. Okay. Maybe not in them same terms.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. But when I'm at home with my family, I'm focused on my family. When I'm at work, I'm focused on work. Now, my business, it's me and my wife business. So we tend to talk about that a little bit more together. But it's family first. In the military, family was still put in, priorities, family. But there were times that wasn't the case. Yeah. When you deployed in like that, no, you want to be at home with your family. Well, no, family's not first at that moment. Yeah. So now that I'm out the military, family is definitely priority. Okay. Definitely priority. If my business or my job that I'm doing now is interfering with my family, it's a problem. I got to cut it loose. So don't none come before a family. And I'm going to make sure it's about dividing your time, brother. Yeah. Yeah. I
like that. I'm big on family as well. And you're probably like me too. It's like, I'm not even going to take the job if I know it's going to take away from my family. And like, even with my wife, with her, sometimes she's just looking at different things online, or just, even when she got this job, it was like, as long as it's not going to pull you away from the family, have you on the road, missing certain things, like, I'm cool with everything else, but if it's gonna interfere with that, and same thing with me, it's like, look, I don't entertain. That's why I do real estate investing, because I can control when I do it. It's not pulling me away from the family. And even sometimes when we go look at the house, they come with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we all gonna go check this property out real quick, and like, we going over to Florence, we're going to the store, going out to eat. Hey, let me swing by this building right quick and check it out, this property right quick and check it out. So I try to make sure that either I'm making money through real estate, or I'm trying to find some way to make money online. Like, even when we talk about possibly doing some business together, like, I'm not trying to be away from the family. I'm like, look, just let's set this thing up and just send me a check.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, even in my business, I got 2 drivers that drive. My brother is one and my daughter boyfriend is the other, but sometimes I drive. Okay. The majority of the time, when I drive at night, my wife is riding with me. Sweet. Now, she might be asleep.
Yeah, but she with you.
She with me.
That's what's up, man.
So
that's what's up. Yeah. How long you been married?
Now, going on 3 years.
Going on 3 years. Okay, y'all still in that honeymoon phase.
Yeah, that's how I ended up staying here. Ooh. I wasn't going to.
You gonna leave us, bro?
Yeah, I had planned on leaving. I wasn't gonna stay.
We was going to Memphis?
No. My goal was to Dallas, actually.
Dallas? Okay. Why Dallas?
Because I, even though I'm not a Cowboy fan, I like Texas.
You like?
Yeah, I like Texas, man.
I can see that. I like Texas.
Dallas is nice.
I like Texas.
Dallas is nice.
I've been to
Dallas and Houston.
Dallas a couple times.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is. It's big.
Yeah.
Get some trouble out
But
there.
now,
too,
but this is home now, bro.
Gotcha.
This is it now. Yeah.
okay, so let me make sure this then. Why are you passionate? Because I know you mentor the youth. So where did that passion come from when it for mentoring the youth, my guy?
So I initially told you I was an Army recruiter. I started recruiting in 2006 in Little Rock. Well, as a recruiter, you're spending a lot of times in the schools, in the high schools. I was a little different breed from the average recruiter because I really cared about the kids. You know, it wasn't that they was just another number to meet my quota. You know, I literally put time into helping these kids with certain things, with life lessons, you know, from what I had learned. And then I also coached youth football for 6 years. And actually the kids I would bring to camp would be down here at Alabama camp. And then I coached youth basketball for 4 years. So I got kind of involved in the community and involved with the kids. And then as a recruiter, I was also going to the juvenile delinquent centers, talking to the kids there. Then when they sent me to Mississippi, one of the principals at one of the schools that I would recruit at, he said, man, you pretty good with these kids. You know, I see they really listen to you. So that got me involved a little bit more. Then when I came here, I wasn't coaching no more, but I wanted to mentor. And that's where you all came in at. But one thing that I'm passionate about, you know, a lot of people say, you know, they're the future. And that is true. But the thing that you got to look at, Zoe, there aren't no more big mamas no more. So you think about it. When we were young, you know, even if your parents was busy, you could go to grandmama, you know, on Sunday, she was going to make sure you was at church. She was in the kitchen cooking. You was going to be in there trying to stick your finger off in something. But at the same time, she was going to probably be telling you something about cooking or something like that. If your grandfather was there, he was going to be saying, hey, get outside and help me with this tire or something about a car or something along that line. But the most important thing is that when you were spending time with them elderly people, they was teaching you life lessons. They didn't have all the education and all that. But for as life is concerned, they was teaching you life lessons, and that's what you need. Well, now fast forward. There are no more big mamas no more. So now, especially if you're a single mom or you're or even a single dad, you're trying to work, you know, you might be going to school. You might even be working 2 jobs. So now you don't have the time with that your son or your daughter. But what's crazy, and this is not all parents, even when they do, now we got so much other things that's distracting us. You got social media, you know, you spending time doing TikTok videos, you know, you doing everything but sitting down, teaching your son or your daughter certain lessons when it comes to life. You know, that's where we're coming up short at. And that's why now a lot of kids, there are certain things they do know through technology. But if you notice when it comes to life, they don't know it no more. Think about when you were young, you know, maybe your grandmama would send you down to the store to get this, or you had to do this. Well, you was learning things in that process. You was learning how to communicate with people. You know, you was learning how to handle business, even if it was your grandmother at an early age yourself. So think about it. If people such as myself and you don't get involved in the community and doing the things that we're doing now, oh yeah, we really gonna be in bad shape.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you man, like I said, some of the answers I just don't be expecting, man. And it's like you just hit it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just be talking to kids all the time, like you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a real legit mentor around here.
Remember, I've been doing it, dealing with kids, man, since 2006.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I know when. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like when you came into the Rescue Me Project, you were a big relief for me.
Right.
Because I was literally like the only one that, like before you came though, I was the guy. Like, and then it was like, I was like, thank God for Gary. You know what I'm saying? Not that I wasn't loving what I was doing. Right. But bro, my kids were starting to come on up of age. I was starting to get more involved with them. Right. And when you came, man, it was like, and then like most of the time when we get, well, some of the times when we get new people, they don't have the gift that they don't have it to talk to the kids and reach the kids and demand respect. And so when I met you, I was like, oh no, he's a man's man. Like they ain't gonna be able to get over on him. They ain't gonna be able, I'm like, yes, sir, we got us another one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Man, like, so what you're doing and what you have done, bro, you a blessing.
Thank you.
And I understand, like, as a mentor, we don't always hear that. Because sometimes we don't even know we really impacting these kids until they slip up and say something. So, okay, so you do be paying attention to me. Oh, so you do be listening. Who told you that? Oh man, Mr. Gary told me that. You know what I'm saying? So they know when you open that door and walk in the room, they know respect is here.
Oh yeah.
You see, and that's what they need though.
There you go. That's, even in the class here, that's the first thing, like, that I demand. At the beginning of especially if it's someone new, I'm gonna have them get up and tell about themselves, and then I'll tell them about myself.
Yeah.
And one of those topics about myself is gonna be respect. And if I can't get their respect, I give them a pass. But if not, they gotta go see Shan Treacy. You're not, because we only got about an hour, bro.
Yes.
And you're not. I'm here this volunteer. So I'm trying to get through. I'm trying to get through to these kids. You're not finna occupy this hour that I got, and that's what a lot of the teachers go through with.
Yeah.
Bro. That's a whole different topic for a different day.
Oh yes.
A lot of times we say the teachers aren't teaching that, but hey, you go sit in some of these classrooms, they don't have the time to teach them.
Bro, listen. I got a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. I know my kids.
Right.
So if I get a call from the school and they're describing something that my youngest boy did, and they say he done popped off, got an attitude, or he done threw the ball at somebody, hit him hard as he can in their face or something, he did it.
Right.
He did it. Mm-hmm. That's him.
Right.
But he's also he's very good at manipulating because he's so cute and handsome, and all the teachers just love him. And then all of a sudden, because you've been, you've been treated like the teacher's pet. Now all of a sudden he showed the other side. Now you want to be mad. I told y'all from the start, you can't treat him like that. But now if they call me about my oldest boy and they say he didn't hit somebody, I said, well, you got to tell me the whole story because he's not like that.
Right.
He ain't just gonna haul off hitting. That's not who he is.
Right.
So somebody had to do something to him in order for him to haul off and hit somebody.
Right.
And so my wife went up to the school one time. They was started talking to her about my oldest boy, and she was like, she just started saying this, and then and they looked at her like, oh, you know your son? She was like, yeah, I know my son. But they was like, you'll be surprised how many parents don't really know their kids, and they come up here mad at us because we have to discipline them.
Like I said, that's a different topic for a different day, but we ain't gonna, but hey, because you see so many parents, I've seen it being in the school.
Yeah.
Parents don't even come to the school until some jump off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they're ready to come up there. And, and sometimes they might have, it's not, because like I tell people, man, teachers make mistakes.
Yes, they do.
But you got to really pay attention to your kids, man. It doesn't matter because there's a lot going on out here in the world.
Yeah. From us just being around the kids at the various mentoring places we go, at the detention centers, we know how bad some of these kids are.
Oh yeah.
And we know, and I know how bad my kids can get on the right day, on the wrong day.
Right.
So, and imagine if they don't have their structure at home, knowing that there's accountability and structure at home, and they still do stuff from time to time. So imagine with a kid that doesn't have that at home, how they act in school and in class.
I'm telling you, bro, it's me sitting there observing myself.
Yeah.
Teachers don't have no control sometimes.
They really don't.
They don't. And
it's sad because, like you said, though, they're going to be mad at the teacher.
Oh yeah.
But it's like you don't even control your son at home, your daughter at home.
Exactly.
So come on now.
Exactly.
But they think it's cute when they doing stuff when they're young, and then all of a sudden when they get older, now it's backfiring on them. Yeah. But like you said, yeah, that's we got to get we got to get one just for that and get a panel.
Right.
That'll be a good one for a panel.
Yeah.
But so with you being passionate about the youth, how has the youth helped or changed you or brought something out of you that you didn't know was there?
Patience. You hear me talk about my boys. I don't use step no more because they're my sons. Andrew, 2 boys.
Yeah,
they were different from what I was used to. They video games, staying in the house. This generation not coming outside.
Yeah.
And Andrew, very soft spoken. I'm very military, direct. I'll use profanity, but with them, they weren't used to that. So if I would come at them like that, I was going to lose them.
Gotcha.
So I had to tone that down. I had to have patience with them. They're not the athletic type. So I can't say, hey, get your butt up, come out here. So they taught me to have patience. So I observe and I'll chime in on certain things, but I still would think about what I was going to say and how I was going to say it before I did, which that's what we should do anyway, instead of just shooting off, because they have been looking at me like, because that wasn't what they was used to,
That's good.
So I had to turn that volume down, and say, okay, let me take baby steps with them. Well, we still going in the right direction, but from where they were to now, bruh, they came a long way.
That's good.
And then when I look at them, it's been a whole. It takes a team.
Yeah.
But I know I have contributed a major part
in
that with them boys.
And I would say, man, that's one of the few traits that you actually have to be in it, be doing it in order to grow in it.
Right.
Because you can't just read about patience and thought, put it in the back of your mind, I'm gonna be patient just by something I read and studied and watched and saw these different videos. No. Patience is one of those things you have to be thrown in it. And then you got to have that voice in your head saying, this is where you need to be patient.
Exactly.
This is where you can't pop off. Right. This is where you got to calm down. This is where you got to look at an alternate route. Because my youngest boy is like that. I can coach my oldest boy as hard as I can yell at him in front of everybody, call him out in front of everybody, coach him hard,
right?
Challenge him. My youngest,
he gonna shut down.
Man, he gonna walk away.
Right. That's how it is. He gonna shut down. Yeah, he gonna shut down.
So, and it's like, but it's like, and then it's like, dang, I just messed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a humbling experience for yourself. And it's like, dang, I dropped the ball. So now you got to go back and apologize. Like,
right.
Okay, but I ain't mean, I was trying to push. I didn't mean to, hurt your feelings or whatever, or cause you to walk away. Because I definitely don't want you to stop loving the game, that you're good at. Right. So I'm gonna find a better way to coach you. But it's gonna be times now, especially if I coached you up and I'm expecting certain things from you. I'm still gonna yell at you from time to time. So right. I'm gonna calm down a little bit, but you're gonna get it.
Yeah. But yeah, you gotta have patience, man. That's one thing. Dealing not only just being here.
Yeah.
Being here.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta have patience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about a couple on where it's like you can't look. I'm not showing up today if so and so's in my class. Like it gets to that point because
I've been there.
Because if I come in there today, he gonna get it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying not to be that guy. So
I'm telling you, I done told Chantry, not today. He can't be in here today. You can go ahead and take him.
Yes.
No, not today, bro. Nah.
So, but and we still growing.
There you go. Let's show you. Hey, we still growing.
But it's good though, man. And like I said, we're growing, we're learning, we're also adapting to different ways to reach and get our point across. Right. Because with kids, especially with our own kids, I heard a guy say that you always want to be the loudest voice in their head when it's time to make a decision. Yep. Now, sometimes they may not be listening, but you got to make sure that they hear you consistently.
Right.
Because they may not be listening, but they can hear you. So when it's time to make that decision, they should be able to hear you. Because you're talking the most in their life.
Exactly.
And you're the loudest in their life. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Yeah. I like that. So let me ask you this. This ain't even on the list there. How long ago did people start calling you Kobe?
Man, I remember where I was at that time. I don't even think I knew a lot about Kobe. I was in Germany at this club called the Eagle's Nest.
Okay.
And there was a young lady standing in front of me, and she turned around and looked at me, and then she did a double take. She turned back around. She said, "Man, anyone ever told you you look like Kobe?" And I knew of Kobe, but I wasn't really at that time, and I didn't really think nothing of it, too much. And then I ended up, because I was playing basketball in Germany, she was a hooper. Okay. And actually, like a few weeks later, we played their team, and her and another girl, a young lady, they could hoop. They was hoopers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she knew everything about time she could go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so after that, man, I just started hearing it a lot. And it opened up a lot of interesting conversations. I done had people, say, "Hey, man, we know, of course, me and Andrew, we was in New Orleans. And it was a group of people from LA. And they say, "We know you're not Kobe, but we want to just take a picture with you because So, hey, I took a picture.
Wow.
With you.
Wow. So, that's what's up, man. I just threw it in. I just wanted to know because somebody brought it to my attention a few years back. And I was like, you know what? He sure do look like Kobe. Got a little Kobe in them. Look, if you was 6'6", bruh.
Right.
Shoot,
Yeah.
you be out there signing autographs right now.
And it's crazy. You know,
Kobe-
a lot of people around
Kobe
here
Dub.
a lot of people around here don't even know my real name. All they be saying, Kobe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Mhm.
So how has the military discipline helped you overcome challenges? Like, I know there's been things in life that's happened, and so how did being brought up in the military all those years help you overcome some challenges in life, bro?
You know, that's kind of one of them questions. You got to have discipline in everything. But I will admit, the military enhanced it a little bit more from a discipline standpoint. Because you got to remember, I just told you, my dad was military.
Yeah.
So I was getting certain things at an early age, you know, and he was a big dude. My father was about 6'4", you know, so discipline was enforced in our household because I didn't want to face him. So it was already set from the very beginning. So even when I went in the military, I always already had been raised on that foundation of having discipline. So it was when I joined the Army, I was already disciplined.
Okay.
And man, with anything out here in life, because I just got through talking to my class about it, self-discipline. You got to be disciplined. Think about it. There's nothing out here that we do, bro, that if you don't have it, that it takes self-discipline. If you trying to be on a diet, self-discipline. You know, budgeting money, self-discipline.
Yes, sir.
You know, on the job, you got self-discipline because someone going to push that button today. So that's just life. It's not so much, you know, the military sets that tone a little bit more, but not just the military, bro. We got to have self-discipline in everything out here. So that's just life, period. A lot of people say, well, I know you disciplined because military. No, I was disciplined before I came in the military. You know, but the military, it does push us a little bit more.
So what about the mindset of, how's the mindset different from a person that's in the military as to someone that's not?
I'll say there's no such thing, you know, physical, I'm look at it from a physical standpoint. Right. Working out, and you were athletic, was an athlete, the body can go a little bit further. You know, when people say, hey, I'm tired or it hurt, nah, you can do more. You can do more. So that's what they put up here mentally. Hey, don't quit. You can give me more. You can give me 5 more push-ups when you think you can. Yeah. You know, you don't need 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. Your body you can do 3, 4 hours of sleep and you still can function. Now, after so long, it'll catch up. But you don't have to be in the bed 10 hours. You know, you 3 hours of sleep, I'm good. So now people ask me, my wife asked me, because there's been times I done drove the truck. My brother might say, hey, man, I don't feel good tonight. So I done booked this load. He got to be in Nashville picking up at 1 o'clock. Here it is, 9 o'clock. And, you know, he done got sick at the last minute. I'm not going to cancel that load. I get up, get in the truck, go run that load, get out the truck at 6:30 in the morning, and at 9 o'clock, I'm in Huntsville at work.
So let me ask you this, though. If you wasn't brought up in the military with the type of father, type of household, and in the military, would that have been something that you would have still done, or you'd been like, oh, no, I'm just going to go ahead and...
Well, the military would, like I said, it would have been pushed on me. But I was just stating, you know, I was self-disciplined. But the military will structure you to, you can do this. Yeah. You know, there's no quit. Because you think about it, man. And wasn't nothing like no special forces, nothing like that. And it still was some hard times. Yeah. So can you imagine those guys, that special forces, Green Beret, and things of that nature, you know? Can you imagine going through that training? Yeah, that mindset with that, yeah, I can only imagine. And as you just said, it's the mind. Yeah, because so that's where it all starts. At a lot of times we fail because of this.
I agree.
You know,
and we can't see ourselves like at that place. Like if you're trying to lose 50 pounds, you can't see yourself. If you're weighing 250, you can't see yourself at 200. Right. So you never even start because your mind, your imagination has not even taken you to that place yet. Right. There's a quote, I probably said this before, that your feet will never take you where your mind hasn't already been. Right. So if you can't see yourself owning a business, you're not gonna own the business. Right. If you can't see yourself in a happy relationship, you're not gonna get there. Anything in life, anything that was ever created was a thought first. They saw it, and then now they motivated themselves and they willed it into reality.
Well, fear. That's the next thing. Military. There are things I tell people. There are things that make me nervous, but literally just say I'm fearful. Nah.
Okay.
There's no such thing. Now, you might be getting ready to get in a fight, you get a little nervous. You getting ready to, go into a territory or something you don't know nothing, but you might get a little nervous. But just straight fear? Nah. No. Why? Because that's if you already are fearful, think about it. You already have failed.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you just said now it's the mindset.
Yeah.
So you didn't fail the battle already.
Yeah. I tell people there's a difference between danger and fear.
Right.
Like, bro, that's like if snakes come in here and that's danger. Right. Like you ain't necessarily you in danger. It's time for me to get up out of here. But fearing something as far as your future, fearing something as far as failure, making a move and things like that. Like, why?
Well, most of us fail already because of that. When as a recruiter, I'm talking to young people about joining the Army. Oh, no. But the only thing to get me, here you are, football player, work out every day. I talk to you about joining the military. Nah. It's fearful. But now I got a girl over here, weigh maybe 120 pounds. And she's saying, "Wait, Sergeant Goliday, talk to me about the military." Before I know it, she done joined and done 3 or 4 years. You still at home.
Yeah. And also that unknown.
There you go. That's a good one because think about it. We can close that door. This I use all the time. You can close that door and we can be in here screaming and yelling. But if you're on the outside, you're like, man, I'm not going in there. But once you open that door up, we in here partying. We having a good time.
They don't know what's going on.
Exactly. And that's how I was when I got ready to get stationed in Korea. I didn't want to go, bro. I didn't want to go. But then once I got there, my mom and dad had to call. They said, "Are you okay?" I was having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like when I'm having conversations with my wife, she's talking about, taking the next step, but she was like, I don't really want to, experience the unknown. She's like, I don't like that. I would say, well, you do know everything that you've ever done at one point was the unknown.
That's true.
So it's all about your mindset, how you viewing this thing, how you see it, and do you really want it?
And also think about it. That's usually the things that we don't want to do. That's where the treasures lie.
Yes.
That's where we need to be.
Yes.
But we're afraid.
Yes.
And that's why I say fear. Man, so the military, it kind of grooms you to, you think about it. Look at all these people going to war and all that, If you just fearful, bro, it's more than likely you're not going to make it back home.
That's real right there. That's real right there.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, you just can't just up on a whim and say, hey, I'm going to the military. Like you need to get some wisdom. You need to be praying. You need to be, because everybody's not built to go to the military.
Everybody's not built. But it starts with what we're talking about, your mindset.
And like I said, with you, it probably was a little bit easier because you had seen it. You had been exposed to it.
Yeah, I seen the lifestyle. I'm not going to say we had everything, but I seen that it provided an honest living for my dad.
Yeah.
So there were some things that I had that my friends didn't have, and I will admit that. And it was due to the sacrifices that my father made for him and his family.
Yeah. What did your mother do?
Well, both of my parents are deceased now. That's another challenge that has happened with me since I retired. Because, I've lost both of my parents in the past 4 or 5 years. Dad suddenly and mom. Mom from COVID, dad from a blood clot. Yep. But my mother, she was basically traveling everywhere with my dad. So she was just getting a 9 to 5, wherever we were. And my dad, was one in the military.
You want to speak on how you navigated yourself through those challenges? Or is it's still something that you...
I want to just sum it up. God, family, and friends. God, family, and friends, bro. Lean on God, family, and friends. You all, my friends was with me every step of the way. Every step of the way. And, it's still, because that's a feeling when you, especially, your mom, your dad, and we was very close-knit. But I tell people, and anyone that has lost their parents, they can relate. Yeah. That's a gut punch there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only
especially suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost, mom sitting at home, watching TV. My little brother trying to reach her. He can't reach her. I called my uncle. My uncle like, oh yeah, I just got off the phone with her 45 minutes ago. So, but she still ain't answering. So my best friend wife went over there, went in the house. She had the key to go in the house. And I'm on the phone with her. So I'm talking to her. I'm on speaker. And she's going in the house. Mom in the chair. Gone. Probably not even 30 minutes. Dad had a minor surgery. And had a blood clot, went from his leg to his lung. And because my mom and dad got separated after about 28 years of marriage, but my dad remarried. So his wife called me. She said, man, I ain't know what was going on with your dad. They just had to rush him to the hospital, but I think he's going to be okay. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to work. You know, if I need to come, let me know. I didn't even get to work, maybe 10 minutes. Her niece called and said, Gary. I said, yeah. I heard her screaming in the background. She said, baby, you just lost your dad. So I done lost both of my parents suddenly. But one thing, man, like I said, God, family, friends, but also just hearing my mom's voice saying, baby, don't care what, you keep going. So that's I have my moments, I have my days, but hey, I got to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's real though, bro. And it's like,
is.
and that's another thing, like, as men, like, we don't really get to express our emotions when it comes to things like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause we got emotions just like, you know, females have emotions, you know, so but we just try to control them and hide them. But man, we hurt too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and
we're human. We're human.
And it's okay.
We're not robots.
Man, like, and people really don't be knowing what really be going on in your life because like when we step out, we always have this like, this persona that like, man, we good, like ain't nothing going on.
Right.
And I had made this quote one time. I was like, man, even the motivator needs motivation sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, bro, you can see me motivating, but you have no idea what I'm battling on the inside.
Oh yeah.
You have no idea. You know, like people like have like in 2023, bro. Like that was a year that I will never forget. You know what I'm saying? Mom was diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
Dad had a stroke. Ended up having to put him in a nursing home. My cousin getting shot and killed was like my brother. My business partner left. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's other things. So, and it's like people don't know what you're going through because guess what? You still motivate.
Right.
You still showing up to the detention center, blessing them and sorting it in. You got to
have someone, bro, that you can go to.
Yes.
You can't keep it.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't keep it because it'll take you out.
Yeah, I agree.
Take you out. Yep. You'll lose your mind. You'll lose your mind.
And if you don't have a higher power, if you don't believe in God and Christ, and like you said, if you don't have those other avenues, you will end up, you know what I'm saying, driving yourself crazy because it seems like some of them thoughts, man, it's like never leaves your head. It's like, okay, God, how do I combat this? I'm constantly thinking about my cousin. I'm constantly thinking about my grandfather in the past.
That's where the devil will creep in at because now there have been people, Zoe, that really truly believe in God. But when they lose their loved one, they like, it must not be a God. If it was a God, you wouldn't have took my mother. You wouldn't have took my child, you know, and that drives that wedge.
It does.
Yeah. Before you know it, hey, you done turned to alcohol. You done turned to drugs, you know. Hey. So
because you can't cope with it.
You can't cope with it. Think about how many people commit suicide from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard. It still be tough, bro. But I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Gotta keep going. But the only difference though, I have people I talk to, you know, it's days now, bro. I break down crying. But at the same time, it's days that I laugh, smile, because I always try to find the good stuff. I was blessed to have my mother and father. They could have lived another 15 years though, and I still would have felt the same way now. Yeah. Right, and that's what I tell people. Yeah. But I was still blessed to have my dad and my mom in my life from day one. Think about the people who don't even know their dad.
Yeah.
So I always try to find the good thing. I stood up at my dad's funeral and I said, hey, I was blessed to have my dad. And so many people don't, bro.
You're right.
So it's other, you know, don't get me wrong, it hurt.
Yeah.
And you know, it hurt now and probably hurt a lot longer. But I know it's a blessing to have my mother and my father and look at, you know, getting to travel the world and experience things with my parents, you know, getting to go to Paris and Spain and all these places when I'm just 7 and 8 years old. You know, all over Europe, bro.
Yeah.
Been all over.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, it and that's life. And it's just one of those things about life is like, one day, parents like me and my brother was talking like not too long ago. He was like, man, when did my Uncle Richard, when did he get 72? Like
It go fast.
Like the baby of the aunts and uncles, he's 63. Like, when did you get 63?
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to be 40.
Bruh.
You know what I'm saying? It's like stuff just
52.
like you look up and it's be like, so it's like, bro, you need to be like in the back of your head, that day is coming.
But see, with that being said, enjoy them while they're here.
I agree.
You better.
I agree. Man, I didn't even,
when they gone, ain't no bringing back.
It's not.
There's no coming back.
I didn't even, like when I moved away for college, when I first moved away, of course, I call back home every day.
Yeah.
Checking in on moms. Every now and then I'm checking in on dad, Right. And then like I said, when mom got diagnosed with cancer though, like I had probably would talk to my mom at that time maybe once every 2 weeks. And we'll text. But talking on the phone once every, cause I was never that kid that like just attached to the hip of mom like or dad, like I'm out here, I'm living, I'm showing y'all I'm independent. Right. But when she got diagnosed with cancer, it changed everything.
Changed everything then.
I call mom pretty much every night.
Yeah.
Like before you go to bed, if I haven't called you, mama, call me. I just need to hear your voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because things get a little bit more serious. And it's like you stop taking them for granted that they're always going to be here. Yeah. And it was like, no, like I need to hear my mom's voice every day. Because it's going to come a day where I'm going to wish
that you can hear that voice.
That I can hear her voice.
Oh, yeah.
And for her to still be active, driving, coming to see my boys play sports, you know what I'm saying? Coming to all kind of events that they have. Like, man, that is like you said, those memories that I will never forget. And like even now that, like I said, we got my dad in a nursing home, he's trying to get back the use of his hands. And once he gets back the use of his hands, he can get out.
Oh, okay.
And so, but now he's in a better place mentally and spiritually. So when we go see him, it's actually pleasant to be around him. We get him out, we go, bring him over for Christmas and Thanksgiving, take him out to eat, stuff like that. But the fact that he's still here though, you know what I'm saying? Because he had a stroke, he had pneumonia. Man, when I tell you, back in 2023, bro, he was in the hospital on the ventilator for like a week. Came through by the grace of God. Couldn't walk, could barely talk, didn't know who he was. Bouncing all the way back from it, walking, talking, back driving, has a stroke. Starts bouncing back from the stroke. Falls face first on his hands. Gets up, can't use his hands.
Wow.
Went from being totally independent in 1 year, driving up here, just living life. Now we got to put him in a nursing home. So when I tell you, bro, like people don't know what you're going through as a man.
Right.
Because a man is always supposed to carry himself in a certain way. I can't hurt. But see, the hurt for a man is different. Our pain is different.
It's different.
Even our love is different. I tell my wife, you love our boys. I love them, but I love them different than how you love them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I tell my sons, ain't nobody on this earth gonna ever love you like I love you. That's just the way God built me. God built us.
And that's the thing, when they're gone, bro, you're not gonna ever get that same love.
Come on, bro.
You're never gonna get that same love. Especially a mom. You will never get that love. You'll never get it. You can search all you want. When that love,
it's different.
It's gone.
It's different.
It's over with.
It's different.
A mother's love.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Because I watch how my wife love our boys. Even my mom to this day. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that she would still sacrifice to this day if we needed her to.
It's unconditional.
That's the true
statement with
unconditional
that. It's unconditional love, bro. Think about it, man. You can do anything. Mom's still gonna try to be there.
Oh yeah, And I remember that. I'm talking about my dad. I remember one day I probably was in college, and me and my brother was talking, and my brother was like, "Who would take care of you if something was to happen to you?" And before I could open my mouth, my dad said, "I would." He said, "I wiped your butt before." He said, "I'll wipe away." I said, "I don't care how old you are. If I'm able to take care of you, if something happened to you, I'll be there."
Oh, yeah.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, you don't get that. Every child doesn't get that. Every young adult doesn't get that from a father.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and I tell anybody, I was like, my boys can end up being 6'10",
They
big
still
beasts.
your babies.
They still my
still your
boys.
babies.
They still small in my eyes.
Right.
I still can take care of you. I still got you.
Right.
It may look different how I got you now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me physically picking you up, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I'm picking you up. You see what I'm saying?
And that's what you're supposed to do, because one day the role's gonna flip.
It's gonna flip.
It's gonna flip, bro.
And you better make sure, you better hope and pray and make sure you're doing everything you can right now to make sure that relationship is what it is. Because
you don't want to be a throwaway.
Come on.
I'm telling you, bro.
Come on.
You don't want that.
Come on.
Like I said, the conversation we having, need to be something for another day.
I got you.
I'm telling you.
I got you. We making. I'm taking note.
I got you.
And while I'm taking note, one of the notes I wrote down was, who was your biggest influence?
Ooh. Probably my dad, my grandfather too. But my dad, like my grandfather, I used to just like how he carried himself.
Okay.
He didn't do a lot of talking. It was more action. You know what? A lot of older,
That's how
old
my
school.
granddad was.
You know, he didn't do a lot of. You didn't see him gossiping and all that.
Yep.
You know, very little words. But he wasn't nobody to play with. He didn't even go to church. But every now and then I see him reading the Bible. You know, and when people would need help, he wouldn't exchange words. He would help them. But so many people gave him so much respect. And I used to be like, man, you know, that's how I want least words, more about their action. You know, now you see men talking more than women, and
True.
you know, it's totally different environment, man. You know, ain't nothing wrong with certain things, you know, I understand, but we do a little too much now.
I agree with you.
We doing a little too much. As men,
yeah,
you're doing a little too much now.
I agree
man.
with you.
You know, life's supposed to be fun, but some things, you know, so I looked up to that. My dad, I used to look at him because he was that guy. He would always tell me, hey, nip it in the butt right now. Nope. If you give them an inch, they're going to want more. Whatever it is, if they rub you the wrong way, it don't take you to be violent, but you let them know that's not who you are. Let them know directly, you standing on business. You know, no, I'm not going with that. I'm not dealing with that. And that's how I am now on my job or whatever. Even in the military, I've always had a certain, I don't care what rank you were, you was not going to just totally disrespect me. I'm going to respect you as a man,
right,
and I'm going to respect the rank. But you're not going to just talk to me and do me any kind of way.
I feel you on that.
No, I'll pull the uniform off and go home.
I feel you on that.
Now, I knew, you know, don't get me wrong, you had to play the game.
Right.
Got it. But there's limits to it,
Yes.
you know. And I'm not soft-skinned because growing up in the house, but you're not going to do me any kind of way, man or woman.
Gotcha.
No, there's a line going to be drawn. Now, I'm more passive than what I used to be because, you know, we older. And I just be like, hey, you know, I look over it and go on. But you're not going to treat me any kind of way.
Gotcha.
Nope.
I like what you said, especially on your job. I like what you said because, like, I'm a union rep on my job, and prior management, it was times where you have to take off your, you know, subordinate hat and put on that union rep hat. Now, when I come in here as a union rep, you're not my boss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I'm standing up for the people now. You know what I'm saying? And it puts you on that even playing field because, like when I come here, like, I don't need you talking down to me. It's like, no, you a man just like I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you get to that point where it's like, you know what? I'm here. I'm going to do my job, but I'm also going to make sure that everybody that's behind me, that is working in this building, is being protected and not being swindled, not being taken advantage of. Because some of the rights that we have, you coming in here flexing, but in the policy it says that you wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So either you can make an announcement and change this, or I'm coming in next week and we're going to have a problem.
Well, I'll tell you something else. You just used the word, and people on my job laugh. I can't stand when people walk up to me and ask me, hey, where your boss at? And people laugh at me because, no, I don't have, you either my manager, my supervisor, you know, you might be the CEO, but I don't use that word. I tell people all the time, I don't have no boss at. G-O-D. I don't have no where your boss is. No.
Garrison, I ain't playing that game.
I correct people with that. What you mean, your boss?
It's even the way you say it.
Yeah, and that's just one of the words, I know we use it.
Yeah, I feel you.
You'll never hear me say, your boss. Where your boss at?
Who bossing you around?
Yeah. No, I ain't got no boss.
I'm doing my job.
And I correct people all the time. They be like, yeah, they be, hey, where your boss? What, my manager, my supervisor? Oh, okay, because I don't have no boss.
I love Gary.
I don't have no boss, bro.
I love Mr. Goliday.
No. Maybe that's just being from the South, Mississippi.
Hey,
because he's your boss man.
Yeah, I feel you on that because I had one of my teammates had an incident in high school when somebody called him boy, and he was like, "I ain't your boy." Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, and I didn't even understand. I'm like, "Bro, you tripping?" He was like, "No." He called me boy, and he know what he meant by it. He was slick with it. Oh, yeah. And so I just had to let him know, like, don't call me boy. Yeah. I ain't your boy. Do it again. We're going to have some real problems.
My dad came to the recruiting station when I was in Little Rock. And one of the recruiters, I wasn't there. And one of the recruiters said, hey, your boy just left. That's all I'm going to say. It didn't get too out of hand, but he checked it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have
he checked.
You can't leave room. Yeah, you can't leave room sometimes.
That's why I go back to I like how my dad stood on business and would handle certain situations. Sometimes a little more. I'm probably a little bit more tactful than what he was. Yeah. But I understood and I understand because, bro, people do yeah. You gotta let them know. So I like that's what. So I kind of was motivated by him and my grandfather. I looked at both. Okay, yeah, I won't take that from him. I won't be like that.
And you know what, man? Like, and you can see the difference in how one person was raised with the father, the grandfather, the home pretty much being solid versus the kid that didn't have that father figure, that didn't have that grandfather speaking life into him, showing him different things, showing him how to maneuver, showing him how to be a gentleman, but yet showing him how to be a man. Right. They didn't have that father that was, strict on him and setting him up for success by holding him accountable, instruction, expectations.
You need it. You need that. And that's why you hear people say, well, you need to go in the military so you can get struck. But now I will admit, the military now has gotten watered down itself. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, it's so many rules and regulations that are put in place now. Don't get me wrong, you shouldn't mistreat no one, but it's not the same no more. Gotcha. It's not. And it's just not the same. So there are things that when I went through basic training, all that now, they don't go through the same thing no more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this last question, man. Then we'll be up out here, bro. What's your advice for tackling life's toughest battles? We kind of talked about this a little bit, but just give them one thing or two things that some advice on tackling life's toughest battles.
One word, and then there's some other, but resiliency. Resiliency. You got to have resiliency out here, bro. Mm-hmm. My mother always used to say, okay, have you cried about it? Yeah. You prayed about it? Yeah. Okay, you done vented to me about it? Yeah. All right, now get up and let's go get it.
Come on.
Because that's where you get your lesson. That's what make you a man.
It does. The struggles.
It's the struggles. You heard me say so many times, bro. Sometimes as parents, we stand in the way of God's plans when it comes to our kids.
Come on. Yes, sir.
We interfering. In order for that young man or woman to become who they supposed to be, you got to step back. Now, don't get me wrong. You pick and choose, but it's certain things you got to step back and let little Johnny or Mike or whoever deal with it. Yes, sir. Because you're not going to always be around. And that's when you fail, that's where your lessons come from.
Come on.
That's think about it. That's how you learn through failure. Yes, sir. But now we don't allow our kids to fail no more. And then when they get a certain age, oh, you on your own, you grown. But have you prepared
them? Come on, bro.
You hadn't prepared them because now it's a jungle out here.
Yes, sir.
Now because they're a certain age, you ready to put them out the house. Oh, don't worry, they're going to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're not ready. Because you did not allow them to deal with certain situations on their own. Don't get me wrong. We want our kids to have more than what we had. We want them to they'll have to go through some of the things maybe we went through. But Zoe, some of those things that you went through are why you are the man you are now.
I agree.
And it's the same way with our kids. You got to let them be able to face some of these challenges that life going to throw at you at an early age. Because if not, when they become an adult, they're not going to be able to handle them. Why do you think you got more suicide? Why do you think you got more kids on medication? Why do you think you got all these kids with anxiety? They can't handle that pressure of life.
Yeah.
They can't handle it. And it's because as parents, we standing in their way.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to be those challenges of where the life lessons are, bro.
I noticed that we try to like lessen the consequences.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or we try to back out on what we said we were going to do if they did something wrong. Right. And I got something right now that I'm doing that's just real simple with my boys. At night, when I come in there to put you out in the bed, if you got dirty clothes on the floor, and your shoes ain't picked up or stacked up or put in the rack, you won't have no iPad the next day.
But see, some people
it's simple.
But some people think you that's extra.
Yeah, I'm too.
That's too.
They got everything.
What?
They got everything. So they got up one morning, went over to pick that iPad up, had a sticky note on there said, "No iPad today." Butt hurt.
But this is the next thing. This is the next thing. You don't supposed to discipline your kids. Okay. You know, they got all these rules and you can get in trouble and you know, we can call whoever on you and you can come out. Man. They come out and say you maybe hit your child or whatever. But they can go out here and get in trouble and the police officers can shoot them down.
Come on.
And kill them. And now society will justify why that police officer had the right to do what they did.
Right. And that's one thing that we even talk about when we go, even when you're with us sometimes. I always say, if you don't discipline yourself, the world would discipline you.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that simple.
Simple.
So if you're not getting disciplined in the home or you don't learn to discipline yourself, the world, life is going to discipline you.
My mom used to say, bye and bye. Oh, you're going to get that lesson.
Yeah.
That's one thing. You're going to get it one way or another.
Yeah.
You're going to get that lesson, bro.
So I'm in agreement, bro, with just, you know, raising these kids up to be young men, to be young women that can live on their own and give something back to the community. Like, I don't want you taking from the community. Right. I want you giving to the community. I want you being good husbands, good daughters, good fathers, good mothers. Yep. If we can do that, we all right.
We working every day. We working.
Yeah.
Look what we doing. Mentoring the kids. You just
sowing seeds.
You been exactly.
Sowing
Look
seeds.
at you with your boys, your father, husband, and you know we're not perfect. We have our shortfalls. You know everybody. Yeah. But at the same time, you working to be a better man than what you were yesterday.
And even in our mistakes that we make, especially when it comes to parenting, I'm gonna tell you something else. We talked about unconditional love. Our kids at a young age, they have unconditional love for us too.
Oh yeah.
Like, cause I see it in my boys. It's like, oh, no matter what daddy do, like even if I get mad and yell at them, within like 3 seconds they coming back, they bounce back like it's nothing.
You know, because believe it or not, most kids want that.
They desire it.
They
do.
Desire that.
They
I
do.
read a book.
They're built. Yes.
I read a book about it, especially with your girl. They want that, bro.
That's another sign of love.
Exactly.
If you care about me, you would discipline.
There you go. There you go.
And I was gonna get to that because when it's all said and done, when everything clears, they know that daddy loves them.
Oh yeah.
It ain't no guessing one. They know.
I'll give you an example. My daughter was in Mississippi with her mom. Mom, great mom, but she was probably 25 minutes away. I'm in Little Rock. My daughter got in some trouble. I'm 3.5 hour ride away. She told the principal, call my daddy. Now she know I'm gonna find out what's going on, but she said, call my dad, because then she might get disciplined. But she said, call my dad. Because when I'm coming, I want to know what's going on. I want to know everything.
Yeah.
And she know I'm going to probably be harder than what your mama going to be. But she said, call, because they want that, bro. They want it. She said, call my dad.
Yeah. And it's just good to build relationships, man, with your kids.
Oh, yeah. You got to, bro. And that's the thing now. Don't get me wrong. I understand social media and things because you can do a lot of these things with your kids, you know. But, bro, think about it. Now when you go to dinner, everyone in there's no more communication. When you're out in public, look, the kids on their phones, the parents on their phones.
Yeah. We have to be intentional.
Oh, yeah.
We do. So, like I said, yeah, we definitely have to be intentional because sometimes we just want the kids to kind of be calm and not be wild. And then sometimes like, okay, look, it's time to talk. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
what's going on in your life?
Yeah.
Because you'll be amazed. It's something to challenge. We talk about these kids are already facing
yes,
bro, that you wouldn't even imagine.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I had did a post one time about like top 7 things that kids stress about. Like we think our kids don't have stresses.
Oh yeah.
Bro, they stressing at an early age.
Early age.
You know, from what they wearing to school.
Yeah.
Who gonna say something about their haircut?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, or you made a bad grade, or you too smart, or you too good on the.
You know, that's what I talk about. You remember when we was in school? If you was getting F's, we was on Joan. That person, man, what? You know, it's crazy. Now it's kind of flipped.
Yeah,
you know?
it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Not to be smart, like no, but that's not what we do.
No, that ain't what we do.
But it all goes back to how you been raised in your home, though.
Oh yeah, that foundation.
Yeah,
that foundation, bro.
Yeah.
It is. You know, that you just heard me say, no more big mamas. You know, some people was forced to go to church on a regular and some didn't, but they did go. Now you go to church, you don't see as many kids going to church as you used to.
it just depends on where you at.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Right.
It depends on where you at.
But we got some God in us at an early age.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like I heard this guy talking on social media who's talking about how we force our kids to go to church. We force our kids to believe in what you believe. We force. And they was like, well, you force your kids to do everything else. You force them to play sports. You force them to do, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm going to brainwash them, if I'm going to force them to do anything, why not force them to believe in the creator, the one, and then his son that went to the cross and died for our sin? Because if Christianity is true, if the resurrection is real, then why would I want my sons or my kids to be brought up in this? Come on.
It's crazy to say because I was talking to one of my cousins. She lived in New Orleans probably about a month and a half ago, and we was talking about our family reunion. And she was saying, well, I ain't going to force my boys to come. We went, family, this is something else, another topic for a different day, you know. Man, I remember we used to have 80 probably to 100 people at the family reunion.
I remember.
Now, bro, we down to probably maybe 30 or 40.
It's different.
And it's because of,
different.
And it's because now people don't force their kids to go, you know, he don't want to go, I ain't going to make him go.
If you ain't got nothing going on, we pretty much went. You know, so now like my kids be having baseball, all-stars and stuff going on sometimes. But other than that, we there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but life, like I said, but you just don't be looking for no excuse. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really important to know your family.
Right.
It's really, because you don't ever know like what connection you will make with somebody that's a third or fourth cousin. And they may have, it may be God's purpose or destiny may be tied in their hand. Right. You just don't know.
No, you don't.
But
That's back in the day with Big Mama, man. They used to have everybody.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You wanted
man on the floor. Man,
what? You wanted it because that was fun, man. No.
We used to be like 10 deep in one room in the living room on the floor. Not ain't one no sleeping bag with pallets.
Right. Oh yeah.
Busting peas on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
Man,
talk.
what?
Real talk. Gary, we got to get up out here, bro.
I got you.
Gary, anything else you want to say? Any closing remarks, man, you want to give to the people, man, or just anything you want to share before we close this thing out?
Nah, man, just we just gotta do better, bro. You know, ain't none of us perfect. We understand that. But when it comes to the youth, we got to apply ourselves more in their life. You know, I know, everyone have their own thing going on, but you got to be involved with the youth a little bit more than what we are because, bro, the devil is busy.
Yeah.
He's busy, bro. Yep.
All right. So y'all listen. This is our first episode for 2025. The Elevated Chat Room. Elevate your mind, elevate your life. Give a special shout out to Mr. Gary Goliday. AKA Kobe. Hey, that's our time. Like, share, comment, holler at us. Get on the podcast with us. We back 2025. My guy Dwayne Malone. I'm Lonzo Jones. Gary Goliday. We out. Be blessed.